You will see the board game looks like a little town from the top, with a street going all around it. There's different areas. A residential area, the light green blocks, where they will need to buy a house to operate their business from. Then there's a manufacturing section. There's wholesalers. And then there's retailers where they can sell their products. And there's also franchises, the light blue ones. And the darker blue, almost purple ones, which is the property investments. There's also a stock exchange and certain economic indicators indicating the current inflation, interest rate and exchange rate. And you will also find the economic news and SWOT cards on the board. The start block is currently on the left hand bottom corner, and they will start in the direction of the residential area. Let's have a look at each of these areas separately. As I've said, the residential area is the light green ones. If the student lands on one of these, they must decide if they are going to buy a house or not. The rules stipulate that if you don't have a house to live in and operate from, you must pay rent. So let's say you land on Serafina Street. In the game, there's a little deed of transport for each of the houses. What is the price that you need to pay? That's the sad face. We are going to look at the current interest rate. If you are not playing with interest rates, that will simply be the middle price. The interest rates are indicated at the economic indicators. The current interest rate will be at 15% at the start of the game, but the economic news may cause that to go up or down. You can also invest in franchises like National Cleaners. If you land there, there's a contract that you can pick up from the game. Again, the sad face will tell you how much this franchise costs, and you will read that from the current interest rate. If somebody lands on this square, the happy face linked to the inflation rate will tell you how much you get. Again, if you don't use the inflation and interest, you can just use the middle ones. The inflation rate and interest rate is shown in the economic indicators. The next part is the dark blue ones, which are the property investments. This works much like Monopoly. If you land there, there's a deed of transport for each of the properties, with a sad face indicating how much you should pay, linked to the interest rate, and a happy face linked to the inflation rate, showing what you will get when somebody lands there. As this property is very expensive, for each property there is a mortgage. The amount of money that the bank is willing to lend you is indicated in the middle. So if this property will cost you 175,000, the bank will give you 123,000 and you must pay in the difference as the deposit. You keep the mortgage card as well, so that you can pay the relevant interest when you pass the beginning. This is the manufacturing section. During the game, you can decide to go straight or turn off at the manufacturing section and pass through it. There's places where you can hire laborers, and there's places where you can buy raw materials. If you hire a laborer, you will receive a small square token with the face of a man, indicating that you have a laborer in your service. For a raw material, you will also get a small token. Once you have one raw material and one laborer, you have sufficient input to have a completed product that you can then sell. The prices or the salaries of the laborers are indicated on the board, as well as the price for the raw materials. If you have your completed board, your completed product, you travel all over the board to the other side, to the wholesalers, where you hand in your raw material and your completed or your labor token to the bank in exchange for the money indicated on the board. If you are not interested in manufacturing, you can also buy completed products for which you will get a little token with boxes on from the bank. The price that you pay for this is also indicated on the game. This completed products you can then sell at any of the retailers, the orange blocks on the game. Remember that where a block goes over two squares, it is actually two different squares that you must count when you move around the game. The amount that you receive for your completed product is indicated on the board. You hand back the token to the bank and receive the money. In the game, there's certain grey blocks, which is just expenses that you have to pay. The amounts are indicated on the board. So far you have learned how to make money from franchises, property investments, manufacturing and buying and selling. You can also make money from investing in shares. You don't need to land on a specific block to be able to invest in shares. Anytime during your turn, you can decide to buy and sell shares. For example, if you want to buy an East Oil share, you will have to look at what the current price is. It starts in the yellow block, and the economic news may move the price up and down. When you buy a share, for example, at 18,000 for one East Oil share, you will get a share certificate. You may only buy shares in the amounts indicated on the share certificates. Then there's also economic news blocks. If you land on those blocks, you must pick up the economic news card, which may tell you something like drought conditions lead to an increase in raw material and product prices by 2,000 per item. The demand for diesel decreases and East Oil share price decrease by one level. The East Oil share price will then be moved down one block. If there's 3 stars, it means that this card is applicable to all players. There's also SWAT cards if you land on the red blocks. This will, for example, tell you that there is a fire at your offices, no business can take place and you must miss a turn. If you have paid insurance before, you can use that ticket now to collect 50,000 for loss of profits. You will see that there's only 1 star, meaning that this is only applicable to the specific player picking up the card. Fortunately, in this game, no player can go bankrupt, and you can borrow money in units of 50,000 from the bank. Just remember that whenever you pass the beginning, you will have to pay interest on these borrowings. Keep the loan card as proof of your outstanding loan. The currency is the Commercium dollar. I hope that you will enjoy facilitating this game.